Good morrow, fellow humans. My name is Sean and I am obsessed with infinity. So join me as I attempt to unpick the infinities of what is. Yeah.
Throughout this series, I will tiptoe and, on occasion, stampede through the various mind bends that have not only been integral to the development of my own understanding of reality, but which have also been responsible for the like revelations in minds of many of history's greatest thinkers. Key thought experiments that have, upon my reflection, become mental landmarks that allow for the navigation and re-navigation of an all-encompassing philosophy. Though it is important to note that for humanity this will forever be an unending process, one which neither I nor any other should ever believe that they might fully complete. For the nature of our being dictates that our understanding must always be of a finite nature. And if we are to postulate the idea that there might be an infinite of information out there, well, then we all must allow ourselves to consider the very real possibility that there might always be an infinite of unknown. Yet this doesn't mean that our pondering, discoveries or ideas are worthless. In the words of Socrates, true wisdom comes to each of us when we realise how little we understand about life, ourselves, and the world around us. In a sense, we must own our ignorance and learn to wear it as a badge of pride, because this honest inner realisation of knowing that we know nothing is one of those mind bends that have been at the centre of many great schools of thought. An idea that has at times lifted my own spirit to a state of utter euphoria. But I don't think we're quite ready for that just yet. To begin with, we must first look towards what we think we do know. And so I now wish to ask you to take a moment and simply become aware of yourself. Don't worry, we aren't jumping into anything controversial just yet. Simply become aware of your body and its senses and how they interact with your surroundings. What's the very first thing that we notice? From the moment of birth or the waking moments in the early morning, as all senses launch into action, we each individually believe that we are alive. Simple, yes? So what's the evidence for this hypothesis? Of course, we believe this because we experience it. Enter suspect number 1, consciousness. I think, therefore I am. So what is this experience telling us? It would seem that we consider our consciousness to reside within a physical body, within a physical world. Upon closer inspection, we realise that this physicality is made up of many substructures, cellular structures which are themselves made of molecular structures, built upon atomic and subatomic structures. These atomic bodies appear to be subject to a set of laws that holistically form a grander system that we like to refer to as the universe. Enter suspect number 2, physics. I am a particular way, therefore I think. But what physics and the scientific method as a whole has always been attempting to achieve has not necessarily been the endless seeking of answers. More often, it's just been about seeking the right questions. And so in this spirit, before we try to answer anything, let us consider what are the best questions. Should we begin by asking why or how? Are these even different questions? A more materialist mind might choose to dismiss why as a failed question. Or if they do choose to ask why, then they will often try to answer it with a series of hows. Concerning reality, a philosopher may ask why, but a scientist must ask how. Though English is rarely black and white, the reason for this is that why tends to imply some form of inherent reason, purpose or intention, though it's practically always an intention that is offered by some conscious mind. So the issue which then presents itself to the non-religious observer is that if the universe has existed for an approximate 13.8 billion years, and has only very recently developed a level of awareness capable of asking the question why, how then could any answer to the question why ever be fundamental to an understanding of reality? Since such an answer is in effect no more than an idea. So does this mean that our pursuit for meaning is over before it's begun? For now, let us just consider what how can tell us, as there happens to have been a great deal of effort put into answering this as a question. At this point, I think it would be fun to start stretching our visualizing skills, because we are definitely going to need them. Simply imagine holding a grain of sand between your fingers and holding it up to the sky at arm's length. Behind that grain are approximately 10,000 galaxies, quadrillion stars, and just as many planetary systems. Exactly the image taken by Hubble's Ultra Deep Field in 2004 and the James Webb Telescope in 2022. But how can we even begin to comprehend this scale? If at least enough to be considered useful when pondering the nature of reality. Maybe let's start a little closer to home.
Well, that's the introduction done and dusted. From here on, we're going to start really getting into a lot of pretty dense ideas. For the most part, for the first big chunk of what we're going to do, it's going to be very physics-based, but I'll try and make it fun. It's going to be nice and chill as the introduction has been. So it'll unfold however it unfolds. Next episode's going to be our first full-length episode, and that is also coinciding with the podcast long form as well. Apart from that, the next week of new content is in a fortnight's time. So I'll see you all then. See you later.